Okay, good
Let's
evening,
start.
everybody. Welcome to this week's Socratic Dialogue. Before we begin, please, everyone, let's introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, I'm coach of Team Visionary Crew. I'm Maryada.
Hello everyone, I'm Devanjana. I'm the part of Visionary Crew.
Hi everyone, I am Sachin. I am the part of Visionary Group.
Hello everyone. I'm Shubham Dubey. I'm part of Curiosity Forge.
Hi everyone, I am Ayush and I am part of Curiosity Forge.
Hello everyone, this side Pratik Raj and I'm from Curiosity Forge.
Hi everyone, my name is Suchanda and I am the co-moderator of this session.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ananya, and I'll be the moderator for this session. So, the topic for today's Socratic Dialogue is business education. So, we have two teams, Team Visionary Crew and Team Curiosity Forge. So, which team would like to go first? Okay, so Team Visionary Crew wants to go first. So you can start your pitch by introducing your team name and why you named your team so.
Hi everyone, we are Team Visionary Crew, and the reason why we chose this name is because we believe that real business education should make us visionaries and not just professionals. And for this, we picked the topic of Toyota to show what happens when a company learns to think in systems. As their success didn't just come from one thing that they did well, but actually connecting their learnings and how they improved their systems. So, in this presentation, we'll explore how Toyota's approach can inspire a new way of looking at business education. Over to you, Sachin.
Thank you, Maryada. Okay, so education is not just about degree or books, it's about understanding how things connect. For example, in Toyota, every workers learn how their small job affected the whole ecosystem of the company. So they work and train to find and fix them and share what they learn. Next slide, please. Yeah. So like a leader like IQ Toyota show how learning becomes innovation. That Toyota prize the first hybrid car was one because Toyota worked and studied about the environment change and act on it. So this show how education should learn about learning concept into the actual building and sustainable businesses. Over to Devanjana.
Thank you, Sachin. So, on a similar note, Toyota learned its famous just-in-time system from American supermarkets, turning self-restocking into manufacturing revolution, making us realize how real innovation happens when ideas to travel across boundaries, industries, learning one from another. Next slide, please. Now, incorporating biological principles such as evolution, adaptation into the business education feels like Toyota's competitive edge comes from constantly adapting to the market, suggesting valuable business insights can be drawn from various fields. Now, over to Mariada.
At Toyota, you and these words are now become part of company's culture. These words remind everyone that improvement in quality is everyone's responsibility. This shows that how a powerful language can shape a business culture and mindset. Similarly, in business education, students should learn the way that naming their ideas can influence the teams to work together towards their goals. In 21st century, business is more complex than ever, especially with AI, with product market fit shifting every few months. So as
Anyone else from Team Visionary Crew can continue the pitch and share their screen.
Yes, so am I audible to everyone? Okay, so we have come up to this slide. I think this is almost done. Maryada has given the overview. So, in the end, I would like to conclude by saying that understanding Toyota's approach to system thinking reveals businesses that how to see beyond the isolated problem itself. So, for own betterment and growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Visionary Crew. Now the question box is open for Team Curiosity Forge. You can ask any questions that you have.
I have one question. Like you told, we can learn from subjects like biology. Can you tell a brief more about it? How Toyota used it or inspired from it?
Okay, so when we do really talk about that, there is a lot more learnings from different such subjects or streams such as biology, history. So basically it gives us the overview that how we are connecting to different segment itself. So when we talk about Toyota as an example, that how it is creating its own empire, that it is not only focusing on one segment or one part, it's see the bigger picture. It knows that what parts should be done in which segment, and each and everyone is open to learn each and every departments and what is going beyond the scene, right? So as a result, people become very adaptive to make quick adjustments. If any problem is coming to one department, another department knows that how we'll be able to cover it. For an example, suppose for a very storm or any of the reason, one supplier from any XYZ company, any XYZ country like Japan got disconnected. They are unable to get the supplier from the Japan country. So they know that they have the backup of Thailand or India. So thus they follow the rule and continue their processes.
Please keep your questions and answers related to the projects that you are working on. Did it answer your question, Ayush?
Yeah, yes.
So I have a follow-up question, like according to you, I mean, according to the conclusion part, what truly defines good business education?
So I believe experience defines a, that business education is actually absorbed by the person who's learning it. We can read a lot of theories, we can read a lot of frameworks, but until and unless we know how to implement it and understand a deeper perspective of how they work in the business environment, the education will not be the purpose of education will not be fulfilled.
Did it answer your question, Prateek?
Kind
Or
of
if you have
confusing. Could
any
you repeat?
follow-up questions?
Like kind of confusing one. Could you repeat your answer?
So, in short, I believe that the practicality of business education to implement what you have learned in real life is what is what makes business education complete. So, if someone is reading about business, someone is learning about business, it's important that they implement them, whether through case studies or through their own projects, to be able to learn and gain 100% that from that framework or from that education.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions from Team Curiosity Forge?
So I have a follow-up question. Like just Maryada said, that they can implement in their projects or implement in their real, or let's just say in work. So there are many, we are talking about education, right? As of now. So in college, people or people who are in schools don't have that projects or don't have that real business experience. how does the business work, right? So how can they apply these business education into their life and learn about it?
They can implement it by working on case studies. There are a lot of case studies that consulting company offers where they present a problem statement regarding a business, and the person who's solving, they can implement this business education, how sales and marketing works, how cross team collaboration works, and implement this theory and solve those case studies.
So do you think that business education is important, or the real world education is more, gives more experience about business?
It's both. I can provide you an example. So 1 year ago, I read this book, The McKinsey Way, and I
Hmm.
read this framework, Maze framework, that McKinsey use when they are starting a project. When I read the book, I understood what Maze framework is, but I could explain if you would ask me, because it's in English and I understand English. But I didn't understand the deeper meaning of it. I couldn't relate it to anything. But just last week, when I was working on value creation report, I remembered that framework and I implemented that when we were going through the chart and workflow. And that the understanding there, when I was understanding what does it mean to be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive, that understanding would not have been there unless I had this real life experience and not just the theory part. That was 1 year ago. But having that knowledge, that theory part knowledge of business education, and then having the real life experience to implement it, made it a whole um, result of what we'd want from business education.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Any more questions related to the projects that you're currently working on in your labs that you would want to relate to this topic and ask?
Okay, I think we can go ahead with the curiosity post. They can uh, present their presentation and start with a short summary.
Okay, so hello everyone. So as I said that our team name is Curiosity Forge because when we think about learning something, curiosity is what matters the most. And a forge is a place where heat and effort is very important. Like forging a sword, right? It turns into something beautiful when you try to put it into with hard work and put it into a where there is a high amount of heat. So that's what's important. So, to summarize our pitch, so our presentation is about how business education should not just give degrees, but also help students how systems work in real life, like how people, how money, how ideas connect and move together. So, I will be sharing my screen. Yes. So, education is not about collecting degrees. So, it's about learning how system works, right? So business families often learn by observing how deals are made and how risks are handled in real life world experience. True education should also teach reasoning and pattern recognition, not just memorizing textbooks uh, theory and not applying it anywhere. Moving on, Ayush.
Okay, so learning to building world-class businesses. We have seen how businesses are built, but we have not seen how visionary CEOs think. They generally lead come up with frameworks which can help them in systems design and product design. They take inspirations from other industries to apply in their own industry. They these world-class businesses grow on habit of continuous learning. It's not necessary to know everything, but learn daily. Next slide, please. Shubham.
Yes.
Philosophy of transferring cross-boundary learnings. We have seen the example of Toyota, how they identified a pattern where supermarkets were replenishing stock only when they had a requirement. This kind of technique of identifying patterns from cross industries can be also taught to our students. They can be given micro projects and they can be graded on their effort. This will be foundation for a strong business models. Next slide. Rethinking the role of school subjects in business education. We can see how niche market strategy was inspired from biology. We can see how empires led and fall from history. We can learn similarly about numbers from maths and communication and persuasion from language. This will make students think like a strategist rather than memorizing just theoretical subjects. Now over to Pratik.
Thank you, Ayushi. So can we move to the next slide? Okay, thank you. I guess words like bandwidth or the feedback loop turn complex ideas into the something so that we can grasp and act upon it. When we name a pattern, we can measure it, talk about it, and also we can improve it. Clear words like clear words lead to clear thinking, and also the clear thinking drives the better choices. Language becomes powerful when it mirrors how actually system work in the real life. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So, business today is a mix of technology, psychology, and I guess the human behavior too. When students explore the real case studies early, they learn how ideas actually work and also not just what they mean. Seeing theory in actions make learning faster and deeper. In this world, curiosity is what truly drives you understanding and the growth. So, next slide. So I would come with the conclusion part. So business education is all about understanding how the system works and people work together to create the effective results. It's all about connecting ideas, not just gathering facts. Like when students learn to think with the clarity, they execute it better and achieve more and more meaningful outcomes. And this way, I guess this way of thinking builds confidence and equips them to solve the new problems and complex problems. Thank you.
Okay, so now I am opening the answer box to Visionary Crew. You can start asking questions.
Okay, so in your pitch, you mentioned that innovation happens when you recognize pattern outside the industry. Can you explain that more? How does that happen? How do you recognize pattern outside the industry, and how does it help with innovation?
Okay, so we can read about case studies or business models of other industries. We can find their end-to-end processes, and we can take out some universal frameworks or strategies which can be implemented into another industry. Some things like it can be process optimization of a manufacturing company. We can try to take inspirations similarly for other industries like in IT services. So that's how we can identify patterns.
Okay, any more follow-up questions?
How do analyzing patterns help in innovation?
there there might be some pattern observed in one industry, but it's not necessary that similar kind of solution is existing for another industry. If we try to implement that, we come up with new solutions, new innovative solution which market may like. We can do the validation based on those new frameworks. So it's a type of innovation where you launch a new product with new offering.
Does that answer your questions?
Yes.
Okay. Any more follow-up questions, Mariana?
No.
Any more questions? Team Visionary Crew?
Yeah. So Subham is mentioned in your page. Business education is just not about collecting degree. I have a question. What is the difference between a degree holder and a problem solver? problem solving in your business?
So business, when you talk about business degrees, so those are just, I think in colleges they don't show you real world examples, right? They don't teach you how business works in real life. Those are just let's just say those are just text basically, which are not being trained or which are not being used in real world businesses or real world examples. So when you look at a degree, right? So I will not talk about big tier one colleges. So when we talk about degrees, so degrees are not useful unless you are learning them how to apply frameworks, how to apply mental models when creating a business education or when learning business education. So solving problems doesn't mean that this business degrees is not useful. It just means that if you are learning something in colleges and if you are learning that how to solve real world business problems, that degree is also useful because you are using that knowledge in the right way and with different perspectives.
Okay, so in your
Any follow-up?
experience, yeah, so in your experience, have you ever solved a problem solving using understanding, not just memorizing knowledge?
Yes, I have used many times. Like there is mental model called George Pulia's framework, right? So this framework I have used many times in my projects and is helping me till now to how to understand the problem till I solve the problem. And I don't think I have learned this in college, but I still think that business education is important in every domain, or in even if you are in other industries or in other tech fields or in any field.
Okay, so what
Yes.
do you think? Can someone be both a degree holder and a problem solver? If yes, and then how?
Yes, yes, obviously. See, degree holder doesn't make you someone who doesn't have any knowledge, right? If you are learning, if you are actually learning something, if you are actually exploring, and if you are actually curious about businesses, then obviously you will have degree and you will also have knowledge.
Shubham, I have one follow-up question for you. So, what is more important to you, implementation or perspective of business education?
I think both matters because when you solving a problem, different perspective matters, right? How does these things work? How does these things will work, right? And when you are implementing, you also get some edge cases. You also get some things that are not available when you were thinking about it. So there is a framework called Red Hat, Blue Hat. If you read about it, it's like when if you are implementing and you are also planning. So both had to do in a like first you have to do the red hat, then you have to do the blue hat. In that way, you can also learn and also see where is the edge case and how to solve the problem.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Any more follow-up question?
Not
Got
yet.
it.
Any more questions from team visionary?
Any more questions from Team Visionary Crew?
No.
Okay,
Okay,
so
then we can open the reflection session. We need at least 3 reflection from our ST team. Who wants to go first?
So I will go first. So while working on this presentation, it helped me understand that education is not just about learning facts, but it's about learning how to think properly in a way that uh, that will we are able to think from a different perspective. And also, while preparing, we realize that how much of business success depends on noticing patterns and connecting ideas from different fields.
Who wants to go next?
I would like to go next. So, while working on this presentation, I realized that the growth I had from gathering the business education to how implementing that education to real life is different, and how much understanding it brings when you are actually working on something, when you are actually implementing the framework and the processes that you have learned from theories.
Great, Maryada. Who wants to go next?
I wanna go next. So, from today's
Hello.
Socratic dialogue, it made me see how business education is not just about the theories, but also about connecting the ideas across the systems and the real life problems. Like each question pushed me to think deeper from understanding corruption and the design flaw to seeing how patterns lead to innovation. Like I realized that curiosity and the clarity matter most, especially when I talk about the perspective and implementation. So both are the both matter, but I guess perspective matters more. And like I, in the end, I would say that it's what turns learning into the understanding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pratik. From everyone, we want 5 more reflections. So who wants to go first?
I learned about the red hat and blue hat framework told by Shubham in his speech. And when I read more about red hat and blue hat framework from Google, it told me that the blue hat sets the thinking, managing the process and the related agendas, and the red hat is responsible for the feelings, emotions, and the rules are followed. The people to express their gut feelings. So I guess that is one framework that I got to know today from Shubham in his speech.
Great, Vibhor. Who wants to go next? Hope you all seen the video and reflect. We would love to take reflection from everyone. Who wants to go next?
I guess everybody has seen the Socratic dialogue, so please reflect, everybody.
I mean, I'd like to go next. So, what I learned today was basically that when we talk about business education, it's not just one discipline, it is present in multi disciplines. Like we talked about biology, how business principles can work together in biology. When we talked about history, that we get to know about leadership as we talk about different wars and how different leaders helped and what exactly defines leaderships. So one thing I learned was that business education is not just about learning things and learning subjects in school. It goes way beyond that.
And I learned that in business education that history is important when you want to get ideas and want to process the idea. Like when you what to say when like red hat and whatever principle is used in the business. Actually, I don't. Sorry.
That was great, Manish. Any other reflections from anyone? Anyone else would like to go for the next reflection, please?
Uh, One major change that came in my opinion for me is uh, before this discussion, if someone had asked me what is more important, implementation or perspective, I wouldn't have been able to give an answer because again both are very important. But uh, the shift in my opinion that came right now is I think perspective is more important now because that is what gives you direction. Without direction, nothing will get done. So, yes, implementation, even if it is imperfect in the starting, eventually it can get better, but direction, I feel like it is more important. So, that's a shift that came for me.
I want to have one reflection on what Drishti mentioned. So, uh, the thing you mentioned, Drishti, I feel that coordination is needed. When I have the direction, but I don't know how to execute this thing, so ideally that doesn't make any sense. So, if we are able to coordinate it, like I have the perspective, I learned the perspective, I gathered it, and now I have the direction. So, also now I have the idea of execution as well. So the coordination between implementation and perspective both are required.
Yeah, I never said that it was not important. It is very important. But if I had to choose one, if I had to say ki one is more important, then for me, I would say ki perspective is more important.
Okay.
I guess direction comes from your perception. If you have a good perception, direction will flow. So,
True.
like, okay, we need more reflection. Yeah,
Who
Suchinda.
wants to who wants to go next?
So I like to go. So today's SD session made me realize that strategy, isn't something born in classrooms. So like it's born when we experiment, observe, and apply ideas, right? Like just like Toyota find lessons in supermarkets, and like we find business lessons in every campaign and every customer conversation. So like when it comes to applying this business education in my organization, so like I really think it's really about creating those small everyday feedback systems in my organization. And that's how we stop copying strategies, right, and start inventing them. This is my takeaway from today's SD.
Great takeaway. One thing that I picked from this essay is that people actually are stuck on fewer examples. They're not expanding their point of view. They're not expanding their knowledge. For example, I've been hearing about example of Toyota for like 6 months. So I would encourage people to go beyond that. Like there are companies who are innovating more. Right? It's not only Toyota there. So you need to expand your knowledge. And if you're not expanding your knowledge, you're just repeating what you are saying. It is going to be monotonous for you. Not even for you, all the people who are listening here, they'll be less interested. So it is your responsibility to expand your knowledge, not for the organization, but for yourself. Okay, so yeah, keep that.
Okay, I think we can stop